Hey everybody, Chad Taylor of the Vegas Podcast, and today I am here with Cal Alvarado. Cal, say hello.
How you doing, Chad?
I'm doing great, man. I'm literally ecstatic to have you here today. I've been wanting to have you on for so long. So just so that everybody knows, Vegas Podcast, you can decide what you think it is, but what it is like my personal ability to sit down and have a conversation with somebody about Las Vegas, what happens in Las Vegas, Vegas specific, and what you do is intriguing to me. Number one, the reason I had you on, but number two, I think you're just the coolest MFer I've ever met.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, like good humans get to come on the Vegas Podcast, right?
Yeah.
And you're one of those guys, Cal. So let's tell everybody, what do you do for a living, Cal?
I am a aircraft mechanic for a local airline.
Aircraft mechanic.
Well, actually, a lead mechanic. So,
Okay, so then we're going to just start this out. Hold on, I got to ask real quick. We're going to start this out. There's a conspiracy theory that there's not actually fuel in airplanes. It's not a real thing because there's not enough place to hold fuel.
oh, there's plenty of room.
There's plenty of room.
Yeah.
Where does the fuel go in the airplane?
So on the airplanes, they're called wet tanks. So the whole wing is a fuel tank.
So the wing is a fuel tank. And how many gallons does that hold?
It depends on the aircraft. Like the aircraft we use is an Airbus
Okay.
320. So it typically holds about, the wings hold, I believe it's total fuel is about 45,000 pounds.
45,000 pounds of fuel.
They go by weight, and it's 6.7 pounds to a gallon.
6.7 pounds to a gallon. All right, we're not going to do the math right now, but someone can do the math. So you're telling me that and most of the fuel I heard is used in takeoff and landing because once you're at altitude or cruising speed, these engines are so efficient, they almost just use the force of the air to continue the motion.
Not necessarily. They still use the fuel. It's just they don't have to run it at such a high RPM to maintain, lift and speed and all that.
Right.
But that is true. Most of the fuel is used during takeoff and landings because they're constantly, takeoff, they're got the throttles full forward.
Yeah, full force.
And then landing, they're constantly adjusting throttles. So
Yeah. Okay. So airplanes do actually have fuel. That's a real thing.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't know if they were just running off electromagnetic energy from the atmosphere or something.
No.
No?
Yeah.
All right. So an aircraft mechanic, and how long have you been an aircraft mechanic?
I'm going on 32 years.
And you're not a day over 42, so you started young.
Yeah, I hate saying that because I'm the old guy now.
Are you? Are you teaching the new ones?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
32 years as an aircraft mechanic. Has that whole time been here in Las Vegas?
No. I started off in Mojave, California, what they call an MRO, where the aircraft go for heavy maintenance, where they take them apart, disassemble them, inspect them, and fix whatever needs to be fixed. And then you put it all back together.
Okay. Is it true? I heard that maybe it is the Airbus has over 6 million parts.
Oh, well, I would, actually an Airbus is just mainly wire. It's a fly-by-wire airplane, so there's not a lot of moving parts. Where, like, what the aircraft we used to have, an MD-80, it's all mechanical. So there's more parts, cables, pulleys.
Really?
Yep.
What's the difference or the benefit between the two? Is one better than the other, or is it just old tech, new tech?
It just depends how your preference. I mean, granted, with the Airbus, it's very redundant. So when you have fly-by-wire, you have redundant systems, up to like 3 systems, backups just in case one fails. And as far as the mechanical airplanes, they're basically the same way. It's just mechanical. And then where you go from fly-by-wire aircraft, obviously it's lighter.
Okay.
So it's more efficient, where a mechanical airplane has a lot of parts, so they're a little bit heavier.
You're calling it fly-by-wire. Is that like, when you say wire, that's the technical term of like, it's just a bunch of wires?
That just means it's all electric.
You're saying it's like a Tesla car. Like it's all...
Correct, yeah.
Okay, so the newer airplanes are more fly-by-wire, I would assume?
Yeah, most of them are. Yeah, the Boeing aircraft still use a lot of mechanical stuff. Like the 37, it's still the same technology from the 50s. They just keep upgrading avionics and, they go digital screens instead of gauges, analog gauges.
Right.
So,
So what happens when one of those digital screen goes out? Like my phone
they
glitches.
they have backups. Like if one screen goes out, the other screen will split,
Okay.
and they can see the same information on one screen.
Okay.
And then they also have the other side, the first officer side. So
Got it.
yeah.
All right. So different types of planes. Okay. So first of all, is flying safe?
Oh yeah,
Do you fly?
all the time.
Do you?
I commuted for 12 years every week.
Okay. This is something you told me before, and I knew this, and it's
Yeah.
something I wanted to get into, so I'm glad you mentioned it. Why would you need to get on a plane?
Well, I still lived in California, but worked here.
Okay. So you flew back and forth.
For work. Basically, it's just like going to work. You drive your car to work from
Yeah.
home. Well, I just fly.
And obviously they pay for that.
Yeah.
So you fly-
Well, it's a benefit with
Yeah.
being an employee.
Okay. It's like on-site housing or something if you live on property.
Yep.
Okay. So you flew back and forth. And never were you ever worried about flying?
No, not necessarily. I mean, there's been times where I was flying as a flight mechanic, riding with the airplane, and you get into turbulence, flying through a storm a lot through the Midwest and in the Rockies.
Yeah.
It gets pretty hairy sometimes.
So the turbulence is hairy, not the mechanical portion of the
Correct,
plane,
correct.
but you said the
Yeah.
turbulence would
Yeah,
bother you.
Yeah.
You know, that was one of the things with me is growing up. Before you get on an airplane, right? Let's say you're gonna fly into Vegas. People are like, I don't fly. I don't like the turbulence. Vegas has a lot of turbulence coming in and out of
that is-
Vegas.
especially coming from Laughlin, from the south.
Yes.
Yeah, it gets. I think it's mainly because of the rolling hills that are out there.
Yeah.
But and same thing with Reno. As you're flying into Reno,
Right.
from the south, it's the same way. It's really bumpy.
So the turbulence. So I always thought that turbulence was a bad thing, or it'd make me nervous or scared. You're like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. However, I watched a video that showed them. This was just a year ago. I think I mentioned it to you in passing. They were testing the wings of a plane, and the wings of a plane are built so that they go through it's one piece from tip of wing to tip of wing is one piece all the way through, and it literally can flex almost 90 degrees.
Yeah. Some of the new aircraft are like that.
Yeah. So how could turbulence ever be a problem if those wings can darn near fold up without being bothersome?
Well, because it goes into the physics of flying. With lift.
Okay.
Because you have a high pressure on the bottom of the wing and the low pressure, and you run in when the turbulence. You run into these pockets where the air is static. So you hit these pockets, and that's what causes the turbulence. And a lot of times you'll see the wing flexing, and when it's bouncing,
Right.
it's absorbing some of those pockets, so you don't really feel it.
Right. And for the most part, the wing's never going to snap off. I guess that's what I'm saying is the way I watched it.
Yeah.
Like, has a wing ever snapped off a plane?
Yes.
Yeah, it has. Okay. So it has happened before. It's not something that's likely. And when
But that comes from metal fatigue.
metal fatigue, not taking care of the aircraft, not keeping it up.
Not so much that, it's just
Old.
Old. For one instance, there's I was working on fire bombers in California at one time for the California Department of Forestry, and they use C-130s for firebombing, and they had one where it turned out to have a crack in one of the spars, and because it's a high stress airplane, because they're constantly filling it up, dumping the load, and then it changes the weight of the aircraft, so the wings actually folded up and they crashed, unfortunately. Yeah.
So it wasn't a passenger aircraft; it was something being used industrial wise. That makes sense. Well, I guess that was one of the other things that I read about the airline industry. You guys are one of the functions of your job is like 100% safety at all times. You don't get to do 99% safety.
No, there's a lot of responsibility, and some of the things that are more critical require a second set of eyes. So, like if you did a job, I would have to come and check your work to make sure everything was good.
Yeah, redundancy to everything. So not only is there redundancy in all of the avionics or the wiring or the mechanical pieces, but there's also redundancy in the labor or the human side.
Correct.
Okay, are robots ever going to replace your job as AI?
I don't think so. You still need people to fix the AI robots too.
That's true. You can go straight from aircraft to robots.
Yeah.
Cal, you're set.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
that's
it's funny. I saw a thing the other day. They say that the engineers designed an aircraft to break. That's why they're so redundant.
yeah. You figure something's going to fail, but you can't have something fail. So
Correct.
it's going to break. Make sure the second
Yeah.
redundancy is in place, and then make sure there's a third redundancy just in case.
Yep.
And there's, I'm sure, been times when a third redundancy has actually happened.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, but then that's when you see that they declare emergency, land at the nearest airport.
Right.
If it's that critical, they land at the nearest airport.
Is it true that if things go really wrong with a plane, for the most part, a pilot can almost like land it without engines running?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
You can land it. So there's somewhat safe. Did you know that there's a new airplane, the Sirius aircraft, that everybody's trying to go get their license for? It's actually, there's some guys here in Vegas, a young kid, Parker, that used to work for me. He worked there, and they have parachutes on them now. Have you heard of this?
Yes. Yeah. So it's been around for a while.
Okay.
But yeah, it comes out off the top of the fuselage. This parachute comes out when they deploy it. Like if they lose the engine,
Yeah.
and they don't have enough airspeed, that's when it becomes a bad situation. They have to have airspeed in order for it to glide in to land.
Yeah, I guess if you just point the nose down, you can get airspeed.
Yeah, but if you're not high enough,
True.
yeah,
True.
a lot of those general aviation airplanes can only go up to 10,000. They cruise around 10,000 feet, and lower. So
And your aircraft's 30,000, 40,000 feet, right?
yeah, well, they're pressurized. Yeah,
Oh,
the ceiling for our aircraft's 42,000 feet,
is the highest you can go or the
Mhm.
lowest?
highest.
Highest. So you're pressurized to go to 42. What happens after 42,000 feet?
Well, you jeopardize engine operation.
Oh,
Yeah.
air gets too thin?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So like a motorcycle and a carburetor I'm familiar with, we'd ride in the desert, then we'd go ride in the mountains,
Oh yeah.
and we'd have to fix the jets.
Yeah.
That's similar to an aircraft?
Well, depending on like I said, it depends on the engine because
Yeah.
there's several different types of engines. Like on the Airbus, the engine we use, and there's different engines you can put on the Airbus, different manufacturers. Well, the engine that we use, it's all automatic. It adjusts itself. Then they call it a FADEC. So you don't do anything. The computer does it all by itself.
Is there a person behind that computer doing it, or is this all
Mm,
automatic?
It's all automatic.
Really?
Yep. So like the old aircraft we had, which was called an MD-80, the mechanical, it was actually like an old carbureted car. We actually had to adjust what it's called a fuel control, which is like the carburetor of a car. And
Okay.
there's actually an adjustment where you're out there adjusting it, like the air fuel mixture
Mhm.
for the engine, where on the Airbus, it's just the computer does it all. You just run it and it does it all by itself, as long as all the sensors are working.
It's an amazing thing that we go sit in a chair and fly through the sky. I heard a comedian talk about that once. He's like, "Why are you complaining about your flight? You're sitting in a seat flying through the sky.
Yeah.
Like, you're getting there, and then like a 6-hour flight, but you hear that engine run 6
Yeah.
hours straight. It's just humming, right?
Mhm.
Trying to fall asleep, in and out of sleep sometimes. But it just goes nonstop. How does an engine do that where it just runs without missing nonstop for that many hours? Like, what's the longest flight?
As long as there's fuel, it'll just keep running. Yeah, because basically it's a torch. So as long as you're inducing fuel, that torch will continue to burn until you cut the fuel off.
Really?
And there was times where I worked on an airplane and I was troubleshooting a problem, and I shut all the power off the airplane, and the engine was running by itself. I had no instrumentation working at all. It was just the engine was running.
Get out of
Yeah,
here.
yeah, it was crazy. It was kind of eerie because I'm sitting in the cockpit and it's dark, completely dark. No instruments, no indications, nothing, but the engine's running.
Because there's still a fuel supply.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, because the engine, so the aircrafts have fuel pumps, but if the engine's capable of gravity feeding or suction feeding on its own, because the engine has its own fuel-driven pump. So if the fuel pumps in the tanks quit working,
Yeah.
the engine will suction the fuel from the tanks.
Really?
So
You're not
therefore,
kidding.
yeah, therefore, You know, like if you lose completely power, the
Yeah.
engine will still run.
So airline and flight, anybody who's afraid of flying, there's really no reason for it. Like it would really have to just be your time because
Yeah.
it is that safe, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Mechanically, yes.
Mechanically, says the
Yeah.
mechanic.
Yeah. Because most of the accidents that happen are due to pilot error.
Human error.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a day that comes when when humans no longer in the cockpit and these cars are just flying, or these airplanes are just flying themselves
Well, they
around?
do that now with the military. They have
With the
the
drones.
UAVs, the drones. Yeah.
So that's the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
We're learning in the military, and then those are going to go to a commercial use someday.
Yep. I'm sure they will.
Wow.
It'll be that'll be something else, but yeah.
Flying through the sky with no human in the cockpit on a plane will be
Yeah.
something else. I would agree with
But
you.
then again, the human is one of your redundant systems. You know,
True.
if the plane fails, you still have the pilot that can fly the airplane.
Oh, so we couldn't absolutely replace a human.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah.
Maybe. Does AI scare you at all?
Oh yeah.
Does it?
Oh yeah.
How does it affect your job and what you do these days?
It really, I wouldn't say it really affects us too much, other than just general population type stuff, you know.
Right.
But other than the fact that it didn't really hit me until a couple of years ago. You know, we have to input software on the airplanes, but we have to secure that software. If we're like when we take a data loader out to the aircraft, it has to stay in our site. So because they don't want, like, you know, it's just a security thing.
Right.
If somebody gets a hold of the software, I mean, they have access to, you know, they're trying to prevent somebody from hacking into an airplane while it's in the air.
Right. Okay. So you're telling me each flight has some sort of data center to it or node that goes with it, or is this just when you're replacing it?
Well, they're constantly updating,
Okay.
like for instance, terrain stuff, but that's a continuous, ongoing update.
Okay.
You know, like navigation data, we update it once a month.
Navigation data. Got it.
You know, like airports that pop up, or so basically when airplanes fly, the skies are like it's like a highway. So they follow a certain line, and there's junctions that they'll fly to this junction, and then they make their turn to head south to another, and they just follow a route all the way to their destination.
And so on the ground, it's GPS. What is it in the sky?
GPS as well.
So there's data points from the ground all the way up to the ionosphere, essentially.
Yeah.
And in that is all a data point, a GPS system.
They do it in the ocean too. When all
Right.
these aircraft that fly across the ponds
Yeah.
or the oceans, I say,
Yeah.
they have these. They're called fixes, and it's a GPS point, and they just fly to that point to get across the ocean.
Wow. So if all communications go out from a tower on an aircraft still flies, can still do what it does, you're just kind of up there blind? If all your, right, say it still flies, worst case scenario, can you just fly an aircraft and kind of look to see where you're going, or do you have to have this GPS system stuff?
No, you don't have. GPS is new.
Yeah.
I mean, for the old aircraft, so what they did was they set up these radio towers, like, you know, the ones like on Black Mountain.
Yes.
That there's actually an antenna up there, so they just tune their radio to that station, and there's an instrument that points to that direction, and they just fly that direction.
Redundancies.
Yeah, but that's old technology. That's how they, you know, back in the 50s, that's how they would navigate, is they fly to these radio stations.
Wow.
So basically, with the GPS now, they can fly direct path, you know, straight line. Where before with they call it VOR, like VHF radios.
Okay.
So they would fly to the station, but you know they might have to go north and then go south a little bit, and you know zigzag. Where with the GPS they just fly direct, and which you know in turn saves fuel,
Right.
everything else.
Airflight just gets more and more efficient by the day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 32 years in the business. we've certified that flying is safe. So if you're afraid of flying, don't be. What is one of the coolest things you've ever seen that you never thought you'd have seen that's just like, wow?
Oh, geez, there's been a lot. I mean, I can honestly say I enjoy going to work every day.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much now because I have to deal with personnel, people, But when I first started, I loved going to work. I loved being around airplanes. Mojave was a really cool place because I saw, there's the Dick Rutan brothers. They're the ones that did the Voyager that flew around the world.
Okay.
Yeah, so their hangar was in Mojave, and when they started building the thing the aircraft that carries the Virgin Galactic airplane.
The rocket ship that we're going to launch or whatever?
Well,
They launched it from an airplane?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I remember that.
So they built that there as well too. So I saw that when they were test flying it.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the biggest plane you've ever seen?
The Antonov, that big Russian cargo airplane.
Antonov?
Yeah, it's called an Antonov. It's huge. It is very huge. And I actually seen that one in Mojave where I used to work.
Okay.
And here. But there was two. There's one that had 6 engines. That was the biggest one. And that thing is huge. They would bring that through Mojave once a year for humanitarian. They would do a humanitarian run for food.
Right.
And they would land in Mojave because of the big runway. And
the Mojave Desert has one of the biggest runways. When we say the Mojave Desert, are we talking about the airport? When I go to California, it's on the right-hand side. Looks like an airplane graveyard right before I get to... Okay.
Well, there's a couple. There's Victorville has... they call it like a boneyard, like a wrecking yard for airplanes. But it's actually Mojave, California, right off the Highway 58 between Barstow and Bakersfield.
Yes, that's the one. Yep, that's the one I'm thinking about. You go down
all
to
the windmills are.
Yep, you go down to bars. Yep, they're just after that to the left. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I remember seeing that. That's a big air base out there, and it's a military base, right?
No, it's just a civilian base.
It's a civilian. Okay. All right, so you get to see. So you truly love planes. Like you've been in this for 32 years, and like my wife does hair and has done it her entire life and loves it. You literally love going to work and still love airplanes.
Yep.
And everything about them.
Yep. It never gets old, and even to this day, if I'm doing a ride along, because we do a lot of charters, we send mechanics on board, as just in case the aircraft breaks, then we send parts or.
so stop. Hold on. So you put a mechanic on a ride along on an aircraft, just in case it breaks.
Yeah. So
what exactly are they supposed to do if the aircraft accidentally breaks?
Well, I mean, so
like unbuckle their seatbelt and be like, "Excuse me, I need to walk to the engine compartment."
No. So you have to wait till the plane gets on the ground. And like I said, the redundant systems kick in. It's just that some things have to be fixed immediately, and some things you can fly broken, but there's restrictions. And so usually like charters like that, when we go to like a military base,
right?
Or if it's a football or a sports charter, we go to a smaller airport where we don't have any maintenance,
right?
Or there's only like a general aviation, because there's a process we have to do for people to work on our airplanes. They have to go through our paperwork. That they call it an approved vendor.
Right.
So sometimes it's just easier to send a mechanic with the airplane.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. I was trying to think, like, why would you send a mechanic? But if there's not a mechanic in the place you're landing, you want somebody there who knows your aircraft and is certified and qualified and approved by your company to be there to work on it. That makes sense.
Time is money.
Yes.
Yeah.
As every airline passenger knows.
Yeah.
How many seats are on an aircraft typically?
200? Well, ours we have different configurations. Our biggest one is 156, but I believe you can put enough. Like I think they can go up to like 250 or something, but that's really packing them in.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
Yeah,
I don't want to sit in that seat.
Yeah. So we have a 156 passenger airplane, a 177, and a 186.
Very nice. What is the coolest aircraft you've ever seen? Because you obviously love aircraft.
Yeah, there's been quite a few. I mean, you know, the 747 is amazing. It's huge. It's amazing. It's even bigger when you're walking through it and through the maintenance side of it, because it actually has above the cabin. They call it the attic, so you actually go into this huge attic, and it makes the airplane 3 times bigger when you're working on it from the inside than when you would look at it from the outside.
Really? Can you stand up in there?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's got, they call it catwalk, and they have cables because, you know, anytime you're up there, you have to have a harness. So
Right.
you hook onto this cable for safety so you don't fall through.
So a 747, is that specific to Boeing?
Yep.
It is. Okay, so
Yep.
Boeing built a 747,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like the end-all, be-all plane that has outperformed and outlasted everybody else?
Yeah, yep. It was pretty amazing.
Okay.
But there's, you know, each airplane has its perk, and, you know, it's a special characteristic, you know.
What's the airplane that needs to go away, Cal? Which one do they need to retire? As a model, not as a specific plane. If you can't say, you can't say. It's fine.
Yeah,
No.
it's hard to say.
It's hard to say. But technology keeps upgrading. We get new and new.
Yeah.
All right. So you live in Las Vegas, 32 years, aircraft mechanic. Plan on staying in Las Vegas?
As of for now, yeah.
Yeah.
I the only thing that I don't really care for too much is the heat.
What is it like working on the tarmac at 130 degrees, I'm sure? How hot does it get on that tarmac?
But well, it's even worse in the airplane, especially in the air conditioning, where all the air conditioning components are. It gets really hot. You're talking like 150, you know, and you're just, yeah, it gets pretty hot. While here, you know, you have they went from blacktop to concrete. So when usually if it hits, you know, we had those 120-degree days.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like 128, 130 on the ramp.
So that is why Las Vegas went from blacktop to concrete, which probably wasn't inexpensive, was because of our heat.
No, I think their primary reason was for efficiency, because blacktop, you know, with the heat,
Right.
it does get soft, and eventually they have to resurface it because you literally see the grooves from the tires, you know, from the wheels where the airplanes continuously taxi.
I never knew that was a thing until I was in Oregon, and Oregon had those ruts where
Yeah.
you'd drive in the ruts. And I remember we had an X5, and the tires were so wide, and the ruts would change. They would pull you back and forth. So I bet they'd do that to an aircraft on a runway, huh?
Yeah. We actually had an issue before the ramp where we parked our aircraft. It was blacktop, and in the summertime they started building these ruts, and we couldn't get the airplane out of it. So sometimes, I mean, they'd have to sit there and push and pull on the airplane to get it out of there.
Are you friends with the air traffic controllers?
Am I afraid?
No, are you friends of them, with them? Do you know them?
I know.
They sit in a tower. You're on the tarmac.
Yeah, I know of one,
Okay.
but I mean, we don't.
Different groups.
Yeah, we don't intermingle at all with them.
How many different groups are in an airport? Like Harry Reid.
Jeez, you know, you got rampers, you got pilots, you got, you know, the restaurant people, you know, all the business workers. You got
F&B.
TSA, the airport operations. They got their own several different people.
Right.
Yeah, law enforcement. I mean, there's so many.
There's like 10 different gangs at the airport.
Yeah, I would say a lot more than that.
Really?
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do like 40. We did 43 million passengers or something like that last year, or 43 million visitors, Las Vegas. I did another stat. You know, I'm in outdoor recreation and tourism. So 50 to 53% of our visitors to Las Vegas are fly. So it's essentially 50-50 between fly and drive. Did you know that?
No, I didn't really know that.
Yeah, 50-50.
I figured it was mainly from aviation, you know.
Right. You would think that everybody flies into Vegas, but the sheer volume of people that visit us from California and neighboring states, but California obviously surpasses everybody. I mean, you're approaching 20 something million people in LA, and it's a big part of Vegas's business.
Yeah. Well, the 15 shows it on every weekend.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Very cool. All right. Well, I'm trying to think of any other crazy questions. Do you have any fun stories or anything that you think would be fun for people to hear? A fun story that's like, if I ever got a chance to tell this story, I'd tell it.
Well, like one of the coolest things that I saw in I've only seen it once in the whole time of my career,
Right.
was during my commuting days, because I would commute between Vegas and Fresno, and there's the military airspace over the Sierra Nevadas. So depending on whether or not they're using it, it will allow you to go across it or you have to go around it.
Okay.
So this particular day, they were using it, so we were going around it, and then I was sitting in the cockpit riding as a jump seater, and I get to listen to the radio, the tower radio and everything. Well, they were telling us that there was traffic 10 miles ahead of us, and you could see an airplane flying in front of us, and it was a military aircraft, and so we were sitting there, but there was 2 aircraft, but I could only see one, and then all of a sudden they said, okay, turn. They gave him a heading to turn, and it was a B-2 doing an in-flight refuel, and it just kind of peeled off and went to the side, and you could see the big.
It's
flying,
a B-2 bomber.
Yeah, the big flying wing.
Yeah.
That thing is huge, and you just seen it, like, you couldn't see it with it flying level,
right?
But as soon as it made the turn,
you could
just see that huge thing turn off and peel off it was freaking awesome.
Not many people get to see one of those.
Oh no.
Because typically if you get a chance to see it, it's already past you.
Yeah.
And if you're on the wrong side of the receiving end of it, it's already bombed you.
Another cool thing too is coming over the Rockies because of all the weather. Mm-hmm. It's a phenomenon they call St. Elmo's fire.
Okay.
And as you're flying through clouds with static electricity, so the little balls with the electricity, and you put your hand on it. And
we used to do kids' hair in a balloon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that happens with the cockpit windows. It goes across the windows, and when you're coming from the east heading west, which we'd see a lot of times, flying in the cockpit, and then you just see the St. Elmo's fire going across the windows.
St. Elmo's fire is static electricity on the windows of a plane because there's so much atmospheric energy.
Mm-hmm. It's just it's like you said, like rubbing a balloon on your hair. Static electricity builds up on the fuselage, and actually on the airplanes they have what they call static wicks,
right?
And it discharges that static electricity because obviously the plane's not grounded, so that's how it discharges it. But when it's flowing through the airplane, it goes across the windows, and you just see the sparkles. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that. I'm not sure I could ever want to see it. Would it go across the side windows ever?
Yeah, but it mainly does the cockpit windows because it's that's where most of the friction is.
Resistance is.
Yeah.
Right. Man.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I've been through a lot, but there's so much stuff. You could sit here all day and just talk about things.
Well, the cool thing is we can do this multiple times. It's my podcast. I can do what I want. So we can. And when I told the wife, I was like, I want to have Cal on. She's like, what does he do? I was like, he's an aircraft mechanic. She's like, what would you talk about? I'm like, everything.
Yeah.
What wouldn't we talk about? Yeah. And Vegas, right? Like we rely 50% of our tourism and people coming here. And one of the things about living here is people come to visit you all the time, right? And it would be really nice. And I've had people say, Chad, I don't fly. Like I don't fly. And I'm like, okay, it's weird, but fine. I'd love to be able to say, look, go watch this episode. Flying's fine.
Yeah.
Like I literally sat with Cal. He told me it's fine. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And you can fly.
Yeah. I kind of got spoiled flying all the time when my years of commuting, it's in 4 hours you can be across the whole country, where in a car you're being from California, 4 hours of driving, you're still in California.
Yeah. Doesn't it just put everything in perspective?
Oh, yeah.
Like you watch some of the old shows, 1982. I don't even know what the name of it is. Taylor Sheridan did a show, and it's like the old Oregon Trail from the south up to Oregon, and the time it takes, and the seasons, and how it used to be for travel. Like we are just spoiled rotten. We have everything. We can go from one place to another. It's a beautiful world. It really is. Wow. So, okay. Well, yeah, I can have you back for sure. So I think we're about 30 something minutes into it now. I try and keep it somewhat short so it doesn't overpower people, because I get a lot of people who go like, I love watching the podcast, but sometimes it gets too long. So I'm like, we'll try and keep it shorter. But one of the things I said about that I've been doing more is just having on people I like. You asked me how often I do this. I don't do this enough or as much as I want to. But there's something going on in the podcasting world. Number one, everybody has one. Number two, everybody continues to try and do things to gain viewership. So you start doing things that maybe you don't align with or you don't want to do, or it becomes extra work, and you're just checking a box or doing it to try and put content out. And so I haven't been doing that. And I'm inspired when I feel inspired about doing an episode with somebody, or I meet somebody that I find extremely interesting, like yourself. That's kind of how it happens for me now. It's just like, I want to go talk to this person because this would be very fun. So we don't do it consistently. So I appreciate you, I guess is what I'm saying. I appreciate you for being a cool son of a bee and down to earth and willing to come on.
Yeah, and I kind of had the same feeling about you. Like there's so many things I want to talk to you about, like just Lake Mead in general and all this stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because being from California, I do a lot of camping and stuff. Growing up as a kid, a lot of outdoor stuff.
Got it.
I'm like, man, I need to sit down and talk to Chad about his stuff.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. I'll give you 2 minutes to ask me anything you want about outdoor rec or the lake, and then we'll talk off camera. How's that? So on camera, what do you want to know? Anything you want to know?
Oh, geez. I know one time you mentioned something about the best spot to go camping as a local. I mean, somewhere, maybe Lake Mojave.
Yeah, there's 10 of them. So let me just tell you right now, you want one of the coolest spots nobody knows about, that's one of the best, most shaded spots in southern Nevada to go camping, Temple Bar Marina. The National Park Service has a campground there. We don't manage it, but it's there. It has the most shade of any campsite.
Really?
So Temple Bar Marina.
I know where that's
Yep,
at.
I was going to say about an hour past Hoover Dam.
Yeah, because sometimes I go to Arizona and I see the turnoff.
So as far as a campground's concerned, pull up, super inexpensive, take kids. I mean, I actually talked about like giving it to the Boy Scouts to make the home base. It is amazing. So Temple Bar 1. 2, Willow Beach. Obviously, I'm wearing my Willow Beach stuff. I'm a super fan. I was the general manager down there for a while. Willow Beach, not as great for camping, excellent for RV and everything else. So RV, boats, kayaks, paddlecraft, kids, fishing, you name it, Willow Beach, we'll send you out on a boat. Trust me, you'll love that. And then one of my other favorite places is Echo Bay. I lived out there when I was young, so I have this fondness of it, but it's very quiet. If you want a place to go actually pull your car up to the water, like right down to the water and go swimming, you can't do that in most places on Lake Mead, but you can there at Echo Bay. So you can actually get down to the water, set up a tent, plenty of places to swim. I would consider it an excellent place that nobody knows about yet. And Echo Bay. So Temple Echo, as far as access, if you want boats, Colville Bay, or houseboats, if you want houseboats down at Cottonwood Cove Marina, down Lake Mojave as well. But those were the best. And Echo Bay, do you have Razors or Rhinos or anything, or off-road vehicles? There's a great trail from Echo that goes around to the Valley of Fire that's just beautiful.
Oh.
What else you got?
That's about it for now.
I'll give you more secrets off camera.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you very much.
Well, thanks for having me.
One last thing. I do the mentor stuff. You see me in it all the time. What would you tell Las Vegas youth about getting into airline or airplane mechanics?
Well, you have to do, like I said, you want to do something that you enjoy, and you enjoy going to work, and you always got to have fun.
Right.
If you enjoy what you do and you're having fun, it's 100% awesome.
Right.
Yep.
Do what you enjoy.
Yep. And be safe. Safety is always the key.
Yes.
Safety is number one.
Well, you're in the business. 100% safety is the only choice.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right. I appreciate you, Cal. Thanks for coming on, and I'll have you back. We'll have some more fun another time.
Oh, anytime.
I appreciate it.
I'll be ready.
All right.